What's going on, everybody? It is Oso and a South Park Phone Destroyer tutorial. And in this tutorial, I'm going to be going over how I make my deck, right, to go into battle. If you're new around here, I hope you consider subscribing. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back and watching. So how I approach this is I have this mock of how many fighters, how many range units, spells, tanks, or archers, right? And assassins. So starting off with the assassins, normally I'm going to carry about maybe 1 to 2, roughly on average. Now, when you look at your cards, some of the units may replace certain other units, and I'll get more into that. But starting off with assassins, I'm going with 1. Legendary wise, I like Mr. Hanky. He's a neutral. He can go into any composition. I know he's a legendary, but he has a fast attack speed. Another good assassin for the sci-fi theme that I would recommend would be, if you like sci-fi, Gizmo Ike. I could ever find him. There he is. Gizmo Ike is really good right now. He is a 3-cost assassin, which, excuse me, his special ability allows him to duplicate, right? And he has a quick attack speed. So I know this is a fantasy event. Some other assassins you may consider, like for instance, for fantasy, I really like gnomes, right? You get 3 gnomes that are very easy to kill, mind you, and but you get 3 of them, right? So if you have an Inuit Kenny, Cyborg Kenny, any of those that have a death wish that may cause you harm, this is what's good for it. From the superhero themes, the must-have assassin is probably Chaos Hamsters, right? You get 2 costs, very similar to Underpants Gnomes, but what makes them even better is that they're immune to abilities and spells, right? So they're very hard to take out. Immense value. So for this particular weekend event, I'm going to go with... I'll go with Gizmo Ike. Alright, so I usually 1 to 2. Next up is spells. Now, for me, I count Satan as a spell most times because his war cry allows me to take over a push, counter push, things like that. So when I'm looking at that, I'll probably utilize Satan, but some great spells here. Let's see. Poison is a good spell, right? Especially at my arena, which is level 7. It could take out a lot of good range archers that are usually tucked in the back. Like Kyle the Drow Elves is 1. What else? I'm going to go to Adventure. Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt is fantastic, right? So when we talk about a 4-cost Lightning Bolt, it could take out Mecha Timmy. It could take out who else? It could do a lot of damage. I mean, at level 6, it's at 951. Level 7 is roughly 1,060, right? So it's pretty much a trade-off, which I really like. One of the best spells in the games right now, probably if not the best spell in the game, is Cock Magic. Right, so you could potentially put Cock Magic in here, and what Cock Magic does is it transforms a set amount of allies and enemy new kids, right, into cocks, right? So a good combo to pair this with would be Castle Defender, because Castle Defender is immune to this spell. So there's many different approaches you can have to this deck. But usually I strive for 1 to 2. So since this is a fantasy event, I'll go ahead and go with Transmogrify, which is pretty solid, right? You transform 1 enemy into a rat. I just like it because Cock Magic's very situation dependent. You have to have a lot, but it is very strong when you do it right. Ranged units, I think 2 to 4 at max, depending on your playstyle, is the best way to approach it, right? So Alchemist Scott is a really good ranged. He's one of the newer legendaries and very strong, right? But very easy to take out as well. So he's kind of balanced in that regard. But if you let him run rampant, right, then it's not as it's not as favorable for you. So I'll go ahead and put Scott. Oh, also Mayor McDaniels, very good range unit. Plus her ability is very, very strong, man. Very, very strong. You're talking about a lot of the legendaries or a lot of strong units have charged abilities. She's the one unit that has a global power bind. So if you're looking for a good range to start requesting, this is the one. Some of my favorite non-legendary ones for sci-fi, it's Ice Sniper. I think she's very strong in this meta, if you like sci-fi. Bounty Hunter Kyle is very low-key underrated, right, as another one. Catapult Timmy's a really good one, right, for fantasy. I think he's very strong. Robin Tweak is really good right now. I love the ally boost that he gives. Oh yeah, Kyle the Drow Elves, a must-have for fantasy, right? So if you're looking for a good range unit, you would want one that has high damage output, because the way you play range units, it's going to be tucked in the corner most likely. There are so many to go over, right? So obviously the Mecha Timmys are fantastic. Manberry Crunch are fantastic. Call Girl. Dark Angel Red's really good as well, right? When we talk about Mystic, very strong. Very underrated is Dr. Timothy if you're looking for a good range unit. I'm probably going to go ahead and recommend him. So on average, roughly around 2 to 4 range units is what you're going to look for in deck composition. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to fighters. All right. So the fighters are probably going to make up most of your deck composition, right? So when you look at fighters, I mean, they can easily take up 4 slots, right? 4 to 5 slots, depending on what type of strategy you run. So some of my favorite fighters are Shield Maiden Wendy is one. Absolutely. She's fantastic value. My opinion, probably a top 5 legendary. Full Moon Sparky first, right? It's definitely a top 5 in my book. He's a fantastic fighter to add to your deck composition. Aura, attack boost, has the ability to retreat and regain health. If you could get him to competitive levels, please do so. Definitely one of the top 5s right now. Stand of Many Moons, like I said, is really good. Very strong charge ability. Good overall health and attack, which was recently buffed. So check that out. I really like M-Tweak, if I'm being honest. M-Tweak's really good. So M-Tweak is really good. I like his ability to pull people in. So if you're looking for an epic, give M-Tweak a try. Alright, so and then last but not least, Mosquito is a definite must-have for superheroes, for fighters. 2 units for the cost of 3. And that Mosquito Swarm regenerates health. That's fantastic, right? And he has a pretty good health and attack range, or an attack damage, so give Mosquito a try. So when you're looking at your fighters, this is probably going to take up most of your deck, right? So it's 3 to 4 units, maybe even 5. So I'm running Sci-Fi Fantasy this time around. So I have 1, 2, 3, I got a spell. I'm probably going to go 6th Element Randy. I'm probably going to go Shield Maiden. And if you're looking for a common to request for fighters, Stan the Great is fantastic for fantasy. A global attack debuff. Pretty decent stats for a fighter, and he's 3 costs. So Give Stan the Great a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need one more. One more. All right. So last one is tanks, right? Oh, actually, I have 2 more. So tanks, you're probably gonna run 1 to 2 at max. What you utilize a tank for is shielding purposes, right? Not a lot of tanks have much attack damage unless you boost them. So Mr. Slave, who is the featured card for this weekend event, is really good, right? Especially being an epic, you can kind of save up for him and get him to a competitive level. So I would recommend him. Zen Cartman. Is another good one. 3 cost. 3 cost tank that doesn't do anything. He just sits there and takes damage, but has a lot of health for good value. So 3 cost. Now, one of the new units introduced to the game is, if I could ever find it, is structure units, tower units, right? These are very strong units right now, and I definitely recommend 1, maybe 2 at max, right? If I'm going to pick one, Castle Defender is really strong. Cyborg Tower is overpowered right now, but maybe get fine-tuned. But the reason why I choose Castle Defender is I like the 2-for-1 special for 5 costs, right? And you could essentially stall out your opponent, right? Which is big in South Park Phone Destroyers. Who can control the pace of the match is the one who's going to win, essentially. So anyway, that's going to do it for this tutorial. My name is Osu. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your average deck setup? Check the timestamps and the links, and leave a comment down below. If you're new around here, consider subscribing. If you're coming back, thank you for watching. Please give this video a like. It'll help me out. My name is Oso, and I'll see you out there, new kid. Take care.